Hi. As Jess said, I'm Jeremy. I run We Are Handsome. We are a swimwear and apparel label in Surrey Hills, and I have a business partner, and for a little while now we've been making things that people love and things that make people smile. We sell in about 90 stockers in about 16 countries, and places as far as Iceland and Saudi Arabia. Excuse me. If you can believe that they're wearing our swimsuits in Saudi Arabia and Iceland, they actually do. We've been featured in magazines like Vogue, newspapers like the New York Times, and about 200, 300 other international publications. And we've had about 5,500 online articles and blog articles written about us, this is actually just a snapshot of all of that, but I thought it would be good for scale. We sell our stuff to the likes of Rihanna and Jessica Biel and a whole bunch of other celebrities who's often news to me, and I sort of have to do a bit of Googling and figure out who that person is, but these are some of those people. I guess in short, what started as a little creative project is going quite well. When we started, this all happened in a time long before the iPad, long before the volcano whose name no one can pronounce erupted, in a time when real books still outsold digital books, and in a time when no one had ever seen a double rainbow. In short, it's been about a year and a half since we started. Since then, we've released 3 collections, with another 2 set to come out this year, and about 5 or so next year. The types of stores that stock us are both some of the most prestigious and biggest in the world. Stores such as Net-a-Porter, Selfridges in the UK, Barney's New York. And much to our delight, we're sold alongside labels such as Versace, Alexander McQueen, Chanel, Dior, and Alexander Wang. And I just made $10 for saying Wang in front of everybody here. I want to be clear that my background is in photography and graphic design, not in swimwear or fashion. In fact, I've had all of 18 months fashion experience, which is the same 18 months since we started. This is the big question which we get asked every day, and often we don't have time to actually think about the answer to this question, and so it was good for Jess to actually ask me here, and so I thought what I'd like to do, rather than just show you pretty pictures of girls in swimsuits, actually try to distill it into a couple of points which might be able to answer this question, I guess. The first thing that I want to talk about is branding, which to us is everything. When we look at branding, presentation is absolutely everything. How a brand looks, how it feels, how it makes you feel is all what makes a brand a good brand, and what makes a good brand a great brand. The common misconception is that you need money and resources to... Oh, I've lost my place. Never mind. This is why I wrote it down, so I can find it. So you need money and resources to look and feel like a Wang, but that's not so true. That's $20. We focus all the time on moving forward, growing the brand, if you will. Sure, we had a lot of resources and cash. Our crack team of designers and branding experts work in our 1,000 square foot newly designed headquarters to use the $3 million in seed funding and our $1 million advertising budget to create something global and recognizable in a very short amount of time. By making our shoots look like those in Vogue... Hey, you! Oh! Sorry. I'm sorry for yelling. We're not there yet. By making our shoots look like those in Vogue, keeping a tight rein on anything that has our name on it, and being really strict about how we're perceived and our interaction, or in our case, our distance from our customer, I'm pretty sure that that's how we managed to do all of the above. But of course, once released to the world, your brand and your baby, you can't always control how your brand is represented.
Hey you, come here. Not that close. That's better. So you think you're about to see a typical episode of Top Model, don't you? You know, me and Jay sitting behind that desk and all the girls walk in and try to impress us. We all know that girl. I want this. My name is Angora Nylandra Tafatia Michaels. I'm not here to make friends. What do I have that the other girls don't have? Hello?
Case in point. While your idea may be the best thing since giant swimsuits with pictures on them. If you don't spend a good amount of time on looking bigger and better than you actually are, you'll only get so far. The old adage, fake it till you make it, really applies here. Remember, ideas are not good or bad, but branding makes them so. The second point I wanted to make was about doing. And the key to doing everything that we do is the actual doing of the everything. Over the years, I've taught myself that when I have an idea, big or small, that I should stop and take a step immediately to make sure that the idea doesn't go away. This is probably why I own some ridiculous domain names such as I'mAMassiveJerk.com, and why I once bought an entire pallet of candy off eBay, despite the fact that it was all out of date. I really wish I was making some of this up. If you start doing something immediately and do something every day, you'll get some momentum. Once you have momentum, it all gets easier. But you have to do something to start with and do something every day to move forward. The third point is about resourcefulness. That says doing. Resourcefulness. You don't actually need all the resources you think you do. You just need to be resourceful. When we have an idea, as most of us in this room do quite often, our very next thought is usually the one that prevents that idea from becoming anything. That next thought is called a limiting belief. Limiting beliefs are things like, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't have the experience, or I don't know anyone who can help me do that. And that limiting belief thought is usually the one that prevents, no, I already said that, didn't I? Sorry. The limiting belief thought is the most effective way to ensure that your idea never actually becomes anything more. Having resources is not your issue. You must be resourceful. Being resourceful takes a little time and a lot of thought and communication and outreach. We have access to all the people and the information and all the resources we could ever want, basically from our phones or from our computers. We all have access to the internet. As I mentioned, we started with $2,800, zero experience in fashion or retail or exporting, and we both still had full-time jobs. In fact, we both still work 3 days a week in our normal jobs while doing all of this. The resources are out there, and the key is to figuring out exactly where to go to get them. So you must be resourceful, and don't let your limiting beliefs get in the way. I don't look at what I do as work, even though it is technically my job. It's love. Of course, there are shit times and giant hurdles and long, ridiculous hours. I work about 17 hours a day, 7 days a week. But I love the process of learning, mostly through mistakes. I love the product that we make. I love the reaction people have to it, and I look forward to it every single day. It's fulfilling, and not just because it's been pretty successful so far. I worked on my own little projects for 10 years without ever being successful, but I loved every minute of it. So I guess my advice is to just do something. Do something you love. Take your idea and find the time to make it happen. Time which you think you don't have right now, but really, as good as it is, do we have to watch the entire 6 hours of MasterChef every week? Your idea, your project, your thing doesn't have to be big. It doesn't even have to make any money. But the act of doing something you love will fulfill you, and who knows, you may end up just being the next Wang. And that's $30. Thank you.